Hello and welcome. My name is Dr. Jeremie, and today I'll be walking you through how to use the progress and decline tool. Our objectives for this video is to learn how to use this tool to analyze a historical moment, event, or period. The tool itself has about three components. This is the modified shortened version. There is a longer version that you can find in the historical thinking tools document. For this modified version, we're going to be looking at step one, contextualization, step two, changes in continuity, and in step three, analyzing the historical moment. So I'm going to walk you through the three steps to see how you could actually also explain it to students as well. So step one is contextualizing the historical moment. So the first thing that students should know is definitely to name the moment. You may be studying potentially the world wars, or you could be studying the Cold War. You could use this tool for anything you want, especially to study bigger items in history. I would suggest this would be a really good tool for looking at enduring issues, even to look at what big events such as like modernity, industrialization, globalization, what big moments in history can we dive deeper into? So after naming the historical moment, what years are involved in this, and then also I would have students think of what major historical themes or issues are present during this period. This will give them that bigger picture just so they could start thinking about this big moment and its major significant parts. After they've contextualized it and they've gotten a better picture of what's going around the historical moment, event, or period, now they could really start going into the tool to look at how we start to analyze this moment. In step two, we're going to ask them to really identify some important changes and continuities of the period. This is good for students to really think of not only history in one pattern, there are things that change, but there are definitely things that also stay the same. History is not just one story. So there are many different ways to look at it. So we would ask students here to identify the important changes and continuities, and you may wish to have them consider a couple of things, especially if they need to consider historical significance. You may ask them some of these following questions. Was this historical moment important to the people at the time? How did this impact people's beliefs and attitudes? How many people were impacted by this historical moment? And another question is, what was the lasting impact? Was it even long lasting? So, what should we know about this? Why are we even studying this? So, these are kind of things to have the students think about while they're identifying the changes and continuities. The next step, now that they have thought of this historical moment and its context, and they've also thought about, well, what has stayed the same or changed during this historical moment, now they could really start thinking about it in the context of, well, was this a period of progress or was this a period of decline? It's good to have students do both progress and decline so they can gather the evidence and see, well, where does this historical moment lie? So for this, they should apply a concept or enduring issue that establishes this progress and decline concept. So one of some of the things that we had asked them to do in the context was to think of some themes or enduring issues. So they could use those themes or enduring issues to help them with this progress or decline. You may also wish to give them some questions to help guide them. So, was it a period of progress? What changes and or continuities from step 2 did they notice represent positive developments? What examples or evidence do they have that could illustrate progress? So you may wish to give them a document that or document sets that could help them identify positive progress. Or maybe you want them to also use information from prior knowledge. This could be done in many different ways. And if you are giving them sources, having them identify the sources they're using will be very helpful. So, what sources showcase this historical moment or period as one of progress? I would also do the same thing for decline. Was it a period of decline? What changes or continuities from their step two represent negative developments? What examples or evidence illustrate decline or lack of progress based on either document sets or prior knowledge? And then, if they're using sets, what sources showcase this historical moment or period as one of decline? These are all questions that could help students really get to gathering their evidence to support either progress or decline. And then there's definitely, if you look at the longer version of this tool, there is a reflection um, step, which would be step seven, the longer tool. But if you're doing this modified version, you may want to add a reflection piece or a wrap up where you ask students to take this additional step and reflect on the historical moment, event, or period. The language of progress and decline chart is a great way to help students really get to writing what they've just done. Because in this reflection, you may want students to use the information from steps one, two, and three to really get into the nuance of this moment. Was it more progress or was it more decline? What evidence do they have for it? And this chart will actually really help students find the words, so maybe they're not sure about what nouns to use or verbs. Maybe they need some sentence starters. So this chart will be a great aid to students if you want them to take that next step and use the information they did in the other steps and put it together to reflect on the historical moment. I hope this was helpful for you and that you use this tool in your classroom. Have a great one.